Hi everyone, I'm Carolina and welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to teach you how to make the Aria top, which is the top that I'm wearing today. But since I'm new here, I would really love to introduce a little bit myself before jumping into the tutorial. So hi again, I'm Carolina and I'm from Italy and I've been sewing for more than 5 years now. Learning to sew has always been something I really wanted to know how to do, and I still remember the feeling of making my very first dress. I immediately wanted to make more. This feeling of being able to express my creativity and myself really kept me going, and that's why I spent countless of hours on YouTube videos, reading books about dressmaking, and I also took a few courses to improve my skills. So then, after making a few dresses for myself, I also started to get a lot of compliments by friends and family. And since I'm really into sustainability as well, I decided to start my made-to-order brand, which name is Azzurro. Since then the community kept growing, and with that I also started to get more people asking me to release my digital patterns as well. But since until last August I was still working my 9 to 5, it was nearly impossible for me to also learn how to do it. But finally this winter I educated myself and learned how to do it, so basically here we are now. I decided to start with the Aria top because first it is really one of my most requested sewing pattern. I love it so much. I made it myself in so many colors and I've been wearing it almost every day since last spring. Plus it is really beginner friendly because it doesn't require any advanced sewing techniques, so if you are a beginner you can totally do it. So I think that after this little introduction we can finally jump into the sewing tutorial. So we are starting by assembling the digital pattern. Okay, so I'm back with the digital pattern printed. As you can see, after purchasing the pattern, I received two PDF files to print, an A4 or a US letter if you live in the US, and an A1. The A4 is the one that I decided to print today, and you can print it at home, and then you have to assemble each paper. I will show you in a minute how to. Otherwise, if you just want to skip this part, you can just go to your local print shop and print the A1, so it will be just a bigger piece of paper and you will just have to cut it basically. But yeah, as I told you, I decided to print the A4 format today, so I can show you how to assemble it. And also, if you are working with the A4, I highly suggest you to print the first paper, which is this one with these two squares, because that way you can just see if you are printing it in the right scale by measuring the two square. Yeah, so after you're sure you have already selected your size, you can then go on and print the rest of the papers of the PDF document. So, talking about fabrics, for this project you will only need 1.2 meters of fabric, and I opted for this beautiful linen in ivory. I honestly love so much to work with linen, so for this project I highly suggest you linen or any non-stretchy fabrics like cotton if you want to stick with the natural fiber. We will now move to the cutting station. So I will show you how to assemble the pattern and then how to cut each piece. Okay, so all we need is just your sewing pattern printed, a tape and some scissors, and I'm going to show you how I'm doing with just the first part, and then we will see later. Otherwise this video will take forever. Like, for example, here I have to assemble the first piece, and we just want to cut along this line, so we can then stick together these two papers so they can match perfectly. I will show you. you just now want to be sure that they match perfectly, like so, and then you just put your tape to connect the papers. And as you can see, they connect perfectly, and to know which papers come first, you just have to follow the letters and number I put it. So like A1 go next to A2, and then we have A3, A4, and then below we will have B1, and so on. Again, I'm now going to cut this piece, and I will tell you in a minute about these notches. Okay, let's have a look at this first piece of the pattern. As you can see, in each piece you will find the number of the piece, the name of the pattern you're making, if it's the front bodice, how many times you have to cut it. In this case is 2 times, because we have an outer fabric and a lining fabric. Then this indicates to you that we have to cut on fold, and I'm going to show you what does it mean when we will start cutting on our fabrics. And then you will find these little notches. They are just indication so that when we will be sewing, you will know exactly where to put the side bows and the front bows, and this is the pants of the front bodies. Okay, so what I want to do with the notches is just, you want to cut them like this. And you want to repeat this for all the notches you will find in this pattern, so they will guide you later. I'm now going on to assemble all the other pieces, and we will see after I'm done. Okay, so we are now ready, and we have all our paper pieces ready to be cutted, and you will have 6 pieces in total. Oops. One for the front bodies, one for the back bodies, the ruffle cut, and 3 for the bows, both the front and the side bows of the top. So we can now step into the cutting process. Okay, so we are now ready to cut. I'm going to start with the front bodice, and as you can see, there is this little arrow here that indicates you how you have to cut the pattern, and in this case it means we have to cut parallel to the selvage, this part of the fabric, of your fabric. As you can see, it's not stretchy, while if you do this on the other side, it's more stretchy. So that's also a way to find it. All you want to do is to just pin your paper in place so it won't move once we start cutting, and that way we can have a very precise cut, which is very important. After the paper pattern has been pinned to the fabric, we can start cutting. We will also mark the positioning of the bows and darts by making a small cut with the scissors. Just be careful not to make it longer than 5 mm more or less, just to avoid cutting the fabric too much. Okay, so now we just need to mark the end of the pants on the fabric, and to do it I like to use a fabric marker. Of course you can also use chalk, it's really up to you. So now we have our first piece. As you can see, we have all the marker we need, and oops. And also here we have the pants marked, the side bows, and so we just need to repeat this process for all the pieces and how many times we need to cut. With all our pieces and everything is cutted, we can finally start sewing, but before we just want to iron each piece. Like, this is not mandatory, but I highly suggest you to do it because this really helps you to go more smoothly and be more precise when sewing. So this is what I'm going to do now, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, so we are finally ready to start sewing, and we want to start with all the straps, and you can fold it by hand if you want, or you can even pre-iron them, so it will be easier for you once you start sewing. I will show you how to iron them, so you can choose. I will show you with this little one, which is one of the side bows. What I like to do is to fold it like so. You give it a little press, and then you fold it again and press again. So what you will get, it's a thin strap like this, and you want to do it for all the length of the strap. Then, when you are at the end of the strap, you want to fold this part inside like this. I really hope you can see it. You fold it like this, and then again like this, and then like this, and you give it a little press, and so at the end you will have something like this. Okay, so we are finally at the sewing machine now, and going to sew the strap without iron them, but just because I made this too many times that I'm more practical this way. But again, if it makes you feel better, just try to iron each straps, so you will be sure that the results will be good. We want to do a couple of stitches and then back stitches, and then we can start sewing all the strap. all our straps ready, and we want to put them aside. And the next things we are going to do is we are going to create the pants for the front bodice. These are the two front bodies, and all we want to do is that we want, wait, okay, so with the wrong side facing you, you want to do this. You just have to make the two notches that we made to touch, so that they create something like this. We want to sew starting from here, and we are going to backstitch here, but not at the end, because we are going to make 3 knots. So you want to leave a little bit of thread, so you can easily knot you can easily knot them, and we are going to do it 3 times just to secure the final part of the pants. Okay, and now we can just cut like so. We want to make this same step for all the other 3 pieces, because we have to do it also for the lining part. So when you're done also with the second pants, you will have something that look like this on the outside and like this on the inside, and you want to just press the pants on the inside with each part facing each other. Okay, so now that everything is done with the front bodice, we want to take also the back bodice, because now we want to attach the front straps both to the front and the back bodice. And you just have to pay attention to which one is the longest, because the longest goes with the back part and the shorter go with the front. Okay, when doing this, we want to have one piece of the front bodice facing us, with the right side facing us. Then we want to insert a strap, and we want to make sure that the unfinished part goes here, because then after sewing we won't see it again, and that we have the finished part outside. I like to use these pins to attach the straps to the bodies, just because they are more convenient to me, but you can also use regular pins as well, of course. It's just like how you find yourself better with. We want them to match the notches that we made when we cut it. So now we want to take the other front bodice part, and we want to place it over the one that we already have, with the wrong side facing us. Okay, so now we want to sew just this part first, and since we're going to use a 1.5 centimeters seam allowance, I just want to mark 1.5 centimeters from here and from the other side, so So this way I know that I have to start to sew here and I will finish here. So we want to sew using a 1.5 centimeters of seam allowance. So I'm going to have the end of my fabrics aligned with this line here, which is 1.5 centimeter, and I'm going to start to sew from the little point that we marked before. Okay, so now this is the inside and this is the outer part, and now we want to understitch starting from the strap and going down until the other strap, so that the fabric won't flip once we are wearing the top. And to do this, you want to make sure that both of the seam allowance fabrics are together and that you are sewing them like this. I will show you now. As you can see, the seam allowance are both on the same side and I'm sewing them together basically. Now we have something that look like this on the outside and like this on the inside. This is the understitches that we made, and as you can see, it will really help the fabric to stay in place. We want to repeat the same process with the back bodice, always matching the knots that we made. Okay, so just as we did for the front part, we want to mark 1.5 centimeters from here and from the other side. What I like to do to secure the straps even more is to sew back and forth twice when I get to the bow. Okay, and now just as we did with the front bodice, we want to understitch this part too, always starting from when we start to sew, so you will always have 1.5 centimeters not sewn together. So we are now done and we can attach the side bows both on the front and the back bodice. To place the side bows, again we just need to follow the notches that we created. So I'm going to open again. In this case it's the back bodice, but it's the same process for the front too. Okay, I think you can now see better what I'm talking about. So we want to take the shorter straps that we made, and in this case they are the same for both the front and the back bodice part, and we want to position them always checking that the unfinished part is the one that we are going to sew. And in this case we want to position them here. Here is where we have our notches, so we're going to position them here, as you can see. And we're going to do the same for the other side. now we want to match the outside with the lining fabric, and we want to pin them together. And we're going to do the same for the other part, and then we are going to sew from start to finish until we reach this point, which is where we started to sew on the upper part of the bodice, and doing the same with the other side and the same with the front bodice as well. So I'm gonna do it now. So this is what we have now, and by flipping it so that we are seeing the right side, we will have something like this on the corner, which looks really beautiful. And we just want then to cut the excess of fabrics here, just a little bit, so in this area it won't be too bulky. So I will show you. Okay, so we just want to cut a little bit of fabric like this. Okay, so now we can flip it so that we are seeing the good part, and yeah, this is the inside, this is the outside, really beautiful and very clean. So I'm just gonna do the same things with the front bodice, and see you later. Now that I have also the front bodice all pinned together, again we just want to sew from starting from here all along this line and reach this point here, and then back stitch here, and we are done. The front part is done too. So now this means that we are basically almost done, and we just have to create the ruffles that goes here and here on the back side, and then our area top is basically done. So let's move on to the ruffle. Okay, so for the ruffle part we just have to take the two remaining pieces that we have left, and wait, we just want to first hem it on the longest side, and then hem it again on the side. And to do this I suggest you to iron it, because again it will just help you to be more precise when sewing. So this is what I'm gonna do now. You just have to fold this part once and then twice, and then press it with your iron. Okay, so now that we are done ironing, we should have something that look like this, and we are going to sew all along this line from the start to the finish on both sides. We're done with the hemming part. We want to hem the two sides, and we want to fold it twice and then iron it again, and then again we just want to sew from start to finish. We are now almost done. We just need to actually create the frill, because as you will notice, the frill parts are really very much longer than the front and the bodice, so we have to curl this part so that they can just fit with this final length of your top. So we are going to curl them now, and at the end they are going to look like this. And to curl the fabric we have to gather them, so we are going to the sewing machine now and I will show you how to do it. First of all, we want to change our tension to the highest possible and our length stitch to the max as possible. Now we are gonna make sure that we pull the thread like quite a lot because we are gonna use it later. And now with the wrong side facing us, we can start sewing from the very beginning, and in this case we are not going to backstitch. As you can see, as we go on, the fabric is already curling a little bit, just what we want, so it's perfectly fine if this happens. Also at the very end we don't want to double stitch. Again, pull the thread and now we cut, and now we're gonna do the same with the other ruffle. Okay, and this is now what we have. It should look something like this, depending on the weight of your fabrics. It could be a little bit more or a little bit less, but it's not a problem because we are going to curl it manually now. Okay, so I'm starting with the back bodice part, but it's really the same as the front. So we are going to fold in half the ruffle so that we can find the center right here, and we are going to put a pin here just as a marker. Then we are going to do the same with the back bodice, so it's here. So now you want to have the wrong side facing you, and we are going to connect the two centers that we have just found, like so. And now, wait, I will show you better. And now we want to start pulling the thread gently, so take your time when doing this. And we're gonna gather the fabrics until we reach the right length to match with the bodice part. We are already almost there. So now what you want to do is to pin everything in place. This time I suggest you to use quite a lot of pins because it will really help you when sewing, as everything will stay together nicely. As you go, you just want to check and adjust the gather as you need. Okay, so now we're just gonna doing this for the other part, and then we are gonna do the same process for the front bodice as well. Okay, so we are done now, and we have something that look like this on the inside and like this on the outside. So now we want to go back to the sewing machine. First of all, we want to be sure that we are putting our tension and stitches length back to normal. For me it was 3 and 2.5. We can start sewing, and this time we are going to backstitch as normal, and we want to move if you can. If not, you just have to position your fabric a little bit above the already existing stitches. But what I like to do, since on my sewing machine I can, is to move the needle position so that the needle automatically go a little bit on the left, and then I'm positioning the fabrics under the presser foot, and I'm using a 1 centimeter seam allowance now. Okay, and so this is what it looks on the outside. We can just cut little threads if they are coming out. And on the inside it looks like this, so all we have to do now is just to finish the raw edges. You can do it on your sewing machine using a zigzag stitch, or you can use it your overlocker if you have one. I'm gonna use the overlocker just because it's faster to me, but the sewing machine will work fine as well. So I'm gonna do this same step on the back bodice, and then we're going on the overlocker. Now that the edges are all finished, we just need to fix the excess threads from the overlocker. To do this, we will simply need a wool needle like this one, and we now thread the threads through the eye of the needle and pass it between the stitches of the overlocker, like so. And we can now cut off the excess threads and repeat the process for the other sides. So, congratulations, you made it! You now have your own Aria top, and I hope you had fun sewing it with me. As I told you at the beginning of this video, this is my first tutorial ever, and I tried to be as clear and to keep it as simple as possible, but of course if I went too quick into some steps or something is not clear to you, please contact me or just comment below so that I can get back to you as quick as possible and you can keep going with your sewing project. Of course, I would love to see your creations, so please consider tagging me on Instagram or just DM me with your creation. And since we are getting into the end of this video, I really want to thank you again for this time spent together, and I really hope you're having a beautiful day, and to see you into my next video. Bye!